Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Fearless Floyd Show. As always, I am your host, Fearless Floyd. As you see from today's title, we're going to talk about some sovereign citizens, which are the new American state nationals. I know. I'm pretty sure this video is going to get a ton of hate mail, a bunch of thumbs downs, but, once I go through this complete show, I think at the very end of it, you'll have a reframing of your ideologies. And let me preface this video right off the bat, okay? I would say the majority of the folks that are in American state national groups, whether you're a Jural Assembly, whatever, okay? Listen, we all want the same thing. The problem is you're in the wrong place with the wrong leader. Y'all need to break down those barriers of there's Anna's group, there's David's group, there's Destry's group, there's this group, there's that group, there's this Jural Assembly, there's that. No. If you guys cannot harmonize, you're going to get sanitized. Okay? Let me explain to you how that works. Okay? Because listen, I don't have anything against you guys. Because I got in with the American State Nationals with Ann Von Reitz, Federation of States. And then until I, started asking the right questions, who's the Federation of States? Who's the executive branch here? And of course, when you ask those questions, you get kicked out of the Anna's group. You get tarred and feathered. So you guys have been going in circles for years, going nowhere, watching your little assemblies just get blown up over and over and over, and blown up again every year and a half, 2 years, 3 years. Just when you accumulate all intelligent, motivated, like-minded people, and you're just ready to get up, and something happens. And then these are other groups over there who just, y'all aren't doing anything. This is the time in American history when all Americans must lower their differences and come together as one voice. That's why I'm presenting this video covering sovereign citizens and American state nationals. Because maybe at one time the peace flag actually was a peace flag. However, it has been bastardized, sullied. It is now the symbology for an extremist group. Okay? Listen, I'm just a messenger. Don't shoot me. Don't hate me. I'm just delivering facts. And I'll go through this and I'll show you and I'll prove it to you. I don't think you understand the gravity of the situation when you have a peace flag on your back or on your shirt. That's a target. Okay? When you put this stuff on your car and you roll without license plates, or you do all the characteristics and behaviorisms of what's classified as a sovereign citizen pursuant to all law enforcement in the country. I don't want to see anybody get hurt. I don't want to see law enforcement be put in any kind of jeopardy behind having any kind of encounter with a sovereign citizen, a Moor, an American state national, a national, somebody out there is pushing their right to travel, whatever, man. That needs to be a peaceful. Sorry about that. I accidentally hit my my keypad there. So that's where I stand on that issue, okay? I'm not a sovereign citizen. I'm not an American state national. I repudiate all of that. I don't want anything to do with it. Assemblies, Jural Assemblies, no. Nope. because you guys have too many barriers, boundaries, subscription prices, buy this, buy that, membership, secret, hiding in a Telegram room or on a website with a portal that you have to have a membership. As long as you guys continue to have those type of barriers, whether they're physical or digital, you're not going anywhere. There are no white hats coming to save us, so don't think that. If you think the military's coming to save you, you should go hear what's in Springfield, Ohio, a town of 50,000 residents, okay? 50,000 residents. And remember, probably half of those might be children. So that's 25,000 adults. So what do you think the police force is for 25,000 adults? Couldn't be that large, right? Well, imagine having 20,000 Haitians living there. This is what we're up against, folks, as Americans. So we can't be divisive. We have to harmonize, or you're going to be sanitized. When you label yourself as an American state national, you are a fucking sovereign citizen. I'm so sorry. I know that hurts to hear that. I know it's painful, and I know you wanted to, oh, Floyd, you're so full of shit. And no, I'm going to break it down to you, okay? Square business. And you're not going to like the ending. I didn't like the ending. How do you think I felt when I didn't get into the American State Assembly or Texas State Assembly through Anna. I had no idea who Anna was. Okay. I just heard about this group that, they knew that the state was a corporation and a subsidiary of the federal corporation. And I knew all that. They knew about the birth certificate bond, the KV trust. So I found a group of like-minded people that we could have an intelligent, rational discussion and search for the real truth of what was really going on. And then I keep hearing that people talk about Anna. Who are they talking about, Anna? Like she's some god or something. I'm like, Anna. Why does everybody keep deferring to Anna? Who the hell's Anna? We'll come find out she's some little old lady in Big Lake, Alaska. Like, why are we listening to some little, we're in Texas. Why are we listening to some old lady in Alaska? Who is she? What's up with this Federation of States? Who are those folks? So I'm looking for the website, and I'm looking for, like you would see in any corporate website, like a board of directors or the CEO, CFO, COO, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Nothing looks like that you would think that naturally that you would see. So when I started hitting these red flags, it made me like, well, who is this chick and what am I really in? And as I'm trying to evolve with my group and grow and move forward, they elected me justice. That lasted a week. Actually lasted less than that. It was about 2 days, maybe 3, before I contacted the state coordinator and go, oh no, I'm not wrong guy. Do you know about Bruce Doucette? Oh, you do? Yeah. As you see, I'm wearing my gambling fire shirt because you guys, you're gambling with your freedom. You're chasing it, but you're freaking gambling with it. And guess who wins always when you gamble? The house. Most likely the big house. So don't go to the big house. You don't want to go to the big house. You've never been to the big house? I've been to the big house, the biggest of the houses. Yeah, most hardcore of the houses. Don't do what I did. So back to the show. I've gone over this over and over and over. So let me go get everything set up for you guys. Boom. Nope. As I want to do in most of my videos that I cover about sovereign citizens and American state nationals, and especially when I am targeting one of those con artists, grifters, liars, scammers, I always refer back to this website, policeone.com. As you see from the title, sovereign citizens, American state nationals, the newest group. Group of what, Floyd? So what is this website? You see, you can register and you have accounts. So as I was describing earlier, this is a portal. Who's this website for, Floyd? This is for law enforcement officers across the country. You click on careers and training, and it'll, tell you about stuff all over the country. Job openings, training academies. Absolutely. So let's look at this little letter here. American state nationals, the newest group of sovereign citizens. Understanding the behavior and ideology of sovereign citizens is crucial for ensuring the safety of law enforcement officers, especially during traffic stops. As you see, July 29th was the update. This is, I believe, from January or February of this year is when the original article was written. But I do have it saved for you guys over here in Word. And we're going to do the immersive reading with Word. This is Dr. Christine Sarteschi. And this is, well, a sovereign citizen who's trying to put a target on your back, who's trying to make you part of an extremist group. Let's dig into this.
American state nationals, the newest group of sovereign citizens. Understanding the behavior and ideology of sovereign citizens is crucial for ensuring the safety of law enforcement officers, especially during traffic stops. July 29, 2024, 1:17 p.m. By Dr. Christine M. Sarteschi, LCSW. About the author. Dr. Christine M. Sarteschi, LCSW, is a full professor of social work and criminology at Chatham University in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Her current research efforts focus on extremist groups and individuals, including sovereign citizens and QAnon. She also has written articles published in scholarly journals as well as the Pittsburgh Tribune Review, Just Security, Salon, New York Daily News, Homeland Security Today, MedPage Today, New York Law Journal, The Legal Intelligencer, New Jersey Law Journal, and Texas Lawyer, along with many others. Her work has been featured in national and international news outlets and documentaries. Dr. Sarteschi teaches courses in behavioral science, covering a wide range of topics, including human behavior, juvenile justice, mental illness and crime, cold case research, problem-solving courts, mass murder, psychopathy, extreme violent crime. Dr. Sarteschi has been featured in various national and international news outlets, including the Associated Press, New York Daily News, Rolling Stone, USA Today, The Daily Beast, The Indy Star, The Illinois Times, The Salt Lake Tribune, The Boston Globe, and Vice, among others. Dr. Sarteschi has authored books on mass and serial murder in America, as well as Sovereign Citizens, a psychological and criminological analysis. Her work explores the complexities of extreme violent crime and the individuals who commit such acts. In addition to her academic and research pursuits, Dr. Sarteschi serves as a consultant to police agencies and is a victims advocate with the Cold Case Foundation, utilizing her expertise to aid in criminal investigations and support victims' families. Sovereign citizens are individuals who, despite being legal citizens of their respective countries, deny the legitimacy of their governments and thus consider themselves immune to their laws. 1. The movement is loosely affiliated and not typically unified, though followers share similar beliefs and ideologies. They use terms to describe themselves such as living man, or woman, natural woman, or man, free man, or woman, secured party creditor, state national, and the newest variation, American state national. Sovereign citizens are anti-government, anti-democratic, and anti-institution, and can be best described as modern-day outlaws. They pose a threat to the US government and other governments worldwide. As legal citizens of a country who reject the jurisdiction of their government and its justice systems, they exhibit anarchist tendencies. Accurate statistics on the sovereign citizen movement are challenging to obtain. Estimates suggest there are between 100,000 to 300,000 sovereign citizens in the United States. 2. In recent years, federal officials have noted a resurgence in the movement. The Federal Bureau of Investigation, FBI, has identified the sovereign citizen movement as one of its top threats. 3. What are American state nationals? American state nationals, ASNs, are a growing group in the United States and Canada. The group's leaders conduct monthly seminars across the United States to instruct followers on becoming ASNs. Recently, they have expanded their teaching to include freedom coaches in all 50 states who now host their own ASN seminars. ASNs assert they are not sovereign citizens. They sell merchandise that says that they are not sovereign citizens and often argue the term is an oxymoron used to defame or unfairly categorize them. They reject the label because it has been associated with domestic terrorism, believing they do not fit this characterization. However, regardless of their self-identification, their tactics, behavior, ideology, and language align with those of the sovereign citizen movement. As the saying goes, as a thing acts, so it is. In addition to in-person seminars, $150 to $200 per person, ASNs also purchase materials through websites and via social media. One popular product for sale is the Freedom Bundle, priced between $175 to $500. 4. This bundle contains a set of documents purported to help individuals move into the private and gain standing. Individuals complete these forms and send specific documents to courts and certain government agencies. Pima County, Arizona, has become a preferred location for ASNs to file their documentation, attracting submissions from individuals who do not reside in the state. For ASNs, recording their documents signifies the repudiation of their U.S. citizenship, thereby ending any contract with the U.S. government. They believe this action exempts them from the jurisdiction of all U.S. laws and codes, rendering them immune to government interference in their lives. Despite the lack of merit or legitimacy in these ideas, this ideology is currently being taught and embraced by ASNs. Passports, coming to a traffic stop near you. Leaders of the ASN teach that acquiring a United States passport is one of the steps to becoming an ASN. They instruct followers to apply for non-national citizen passports, which they believe officially recognize their status as ASNs by the U.S. Department of State. 4. They also believe that the passport holder has been placed on a special do not detain, do not interrogate list, and as a special bonus, the passport holder now has a concealed weapon permit valid in all 50 states. 4. That cannot be revoked. However, there is no evidence to support these claims. Followers also believe that possessing this special U.S. passport grants them diplomatic immunity, an entirely baseless notion. None of the teachings related to this special passport are valid or real, yet ASNs believe in them and act accordingly. There is a growing trend of ASNs presenting these passports to law enforcement when asked for identification during traffic stops. Encountering someone offering their passport in such a situation is an indicator you may be dealing with an ASN. The issue of the special U.S. passport played a role in a high-profile incident in Farmington, Utah, in March 2023, which resulted in the fatal shooting of Chase Allen. During a traffic stop for an illegal ASN-themed license plate, Allen presented a passport to law enforcement after refusing to provide his driver's license. He made several claims about the passport, including his belief that police were not authorized to stop him and that he was on your list, presumably referring to the internal, do not detain, list referenced above. 4. Allen engaged in a prolonged argument with law enforcement officers and refused to exit his vehicle. The situation escalated when officers attempted to remove him from the vehicle, ultimately leading the officers to fatally shoot Allen after he appeared to be reaching for his gun. Prosecutors later declined to file any charges against the 5 officers involved, citing no reasonable possibility of conviction. 5. Allen's death is a major source of anger within the ASN community. ASNs view police officers as policy enforcement agents tasked with arresting code breakers. This perspective aligns with the belief, common among sovereign citizen ideology, that law enforcement officials serve the corporation of the United States. ASNs believe that by filing certain paperwork, they have exempted themselves from the need to adhere to any U.S. codes or laws and act in accordance with these beliefs. Consequently, ASNs do not respect law enforcement and deny they have authority or jurisdiction over them. ASNs believe that police officers need to be educated about the law, particularly concerning the ASN's God-given right to travel. Some ASNs have proposed conducting training sessions for all police officers to disseminate their beliefs. They also see traffic stops as opportunities for re-educating police by presenting officers with paperwork, which ASNs carry in their vehicles. A leader of the group markets a binder of materials for $199, which includes the right to travel documents designed to be handed directly to police. If an ASN receives a ticket from a law enforcement official, they're advised to rescind the ticket within 72 hours. This rescission can be attempted either by visiting the police department in person or by mailing the ticket back to the police with a specific phrase written across it at a 45 degrees angle in red ink. Those phrases include 72-hour right of rescission. Your offer to contract with me is not accepted while traveling in private. I provided a passport, not a license. Title 18, Section 241 and 242. Recommendations for law enforcement when encountering sovereign citizens. When a police officer encounters a sovereign citizen during a traffic stop, they are not dealing with an ordinary citizen. These encounters are far from typical due to the unique ideology of the sovereign citizen or anyone adopting similar beliefs, regardless of the label they might use. For myriad reasons, sovereign citizens choose to live and act outside the law. They reject the legitimacy of the United States government, its laws and court system. They consider themselves immune to all United States laws and believe they are not subject to the authority of law enforcement officers or judges in a courtroom. Sovereign citizens are neither confused nor misled. They are firmly convinced in their beliefs. When a police officer attempts to explain or clarify the law, it is not just a futile effort, but can also exacerbate the situation by further antagonizing the sovereign citizen. Sovereign citizens are entirely certain of their correctness and equally convinced that all police officers are not only mistaken, but also in dire need of education on sovereign citizen ideology. They feel resentful and become agitated and angry when stopped by a police officer, believing the stop to be illegal and a waste of their time. Sovereign citizens argue they do not need a driver's license because they are not driving in the legal sense, but traveling. They reject the explanation from law enforcement that operating a vehicle is a privilege that requires licensing, insisting that what they are using is not a car, but a personal conveyance. They may concede that a driver's license is necessary, but only for those engaged in commercial driving. This belief is why many of their unauthorized license plates bear the inscription, private not for hire, indicating their stance that they are not subject to the same regulations as commercial drivers. After years of intensive study of sovereign citizens, there has never been a recorded instance where a sovereign citizen has expressed gratitude to an officer for correcting their misconceptions. Rather, their interactions with law enforcement typically involve derogatory remarks about the officer's intelligence, threats of lethal action, and refusal to comply with basic commands such as exiting the vehicle, verbally identifying themselves, or presenting a license or any form of identification. In more extreme cases, these encounters have escalated to violence against law enforcement officers, including being dragged by vehicles, biting off fingers, and, tragically, the killing of officers. 6. This pattern of behavior underscores the profound challenges and dangers law enforcement faces when engaging with individuals who identify with the sovereign citizen movement. Understanding the behavior and ideology of sovereign citizens is crucial for ensuring the safety of law enforcement officers. A common tactic among sovereign citizens during traffic stops is to only lower their vehicle window a minimal amount, often just an inch or two. This significantly hampers communication, frequently leading the officer to turn their head to one side and bring an ear closer to the narrow opening to hear better. However, this action compromises the officer's ability to maintain visual contact with the sovereign citizen, thereby increasing the officer's vulnerability. Given the risk this poses, it may be advisable to consider changes in laws or policies to mitigate such dangers, ensuring officers can maintain both clear communication and visual observation during these encounters. Adjustments in laws or policies might also be needed to address the issue of excessively prolonged traffic stops, which often involve multiple police vehicles and numerous officers. Sovereign citizens are frequently instructed to request a supervisor's presence, complicating the situation further by insisting on speaking only with the elected sheriff. Additionally, it's not uncommon for sovereign citizens to call 911 during the stop, requesting more police officers to prevent what they claim to be the theft of their cars and their own kidnapping by the officers currently on the scene. Such tactics not only strain law enforcement resources, but also escalate tensions, suggesting a need for policy revisions to streamline these encounters and reduce risks for all involved. Revising the training or policies governing police officers may indeed be necessary to more effectively handle encounters with sovereign citizens. Sovereign citizens often try to adjudicate their case from the onset of a traffic stop, presenting a confusing mix of legal jargon and irrelevant laws in what can be described as a law word salad. Unfortunately, officers frequently engage in these arguments, inadvertently prolonging the traffic stop and escalating the sovereign citizens' frustration, anger, and rage. Numerous videos show officers repeating legal requirements, such as the necessity to identify oneself during a traffic stop over 30 times, or instructing sovereign citizens to exit their vehicles with similar repetition. Since police officers represent the executive branch of government and not the judicial branch, it might be more appropriate to reserve legal debates for the courtroom. A potential strategy for officers could be to revert to the traditional but effective response of "tell it to the judge" when faced with legal arguments from sovereign citizens. This approach could help de-escalate situations by avoiding fruitless debates during traffic stops and emphasizing that legal disputes are to be resolved within the judicial system, not at the roadside. References. Footnote 1. FBI. 2011. Sovereign citizens a growing domestic threat to law enforcement. Footnote 2. Malek M. February 21, 2024. Uncommon Law. Understanding and Quantifying the Sovereign Citizen Movement, Naval Postgraduate School. Footnote 3, Salai S., March 16, 2023. War on Government. Sovereign Citizens Bring Surge of Violence. The Washington Times. Footnote 4, Sarteschi CM, 2023. Sovereign Citizens and QAnon. The Increasing Overlaps with a Focus on Child Protective Service, CPS, Cases. International Journal of Coercion, Abuse, and Manipulation. Footnote 5, Lewis S., September 13, 2023. Farmington officers cleared by David Company. Attorney in fatal shooting of Chase Allen, ABC 4 Utah. Footnote 6, Sarteschi CM, 2020. Sovereign Citizens, a narrative review with implications of violence towards law enforcement, aggression, and violent behavior. This article, originally published on February 24, 2024, has been updated.
That was Dr. Christine Sarteschi's nice little piece on American State National Sovereign Citizens and the symbology, behavior, and characteristics of what that looks like. I contacted Dr. Sarteschi. I invited her on my show, but due to pending court cases, she didn't elaborate. She declined at this time to come on my show. However, I didn't know she wrote a book about serial killers because I used to live with one. I'm sure she'd be interested in that conversation, especially since he has passed away. So that was the policeone.com article that all law enforcement looks at. And I'm going to go through some other stuff in here and show it to you. You know, I hate to be the messenger and just blow your mind, but it is what it is. I don't know why it's over there doing that. Because I just loaded that. Which one am I looking for? Okay. Here it is. All right. You just Wikipedia sovereign citizen movement, and here you go. That's what's going to pop up. So let's just take it one step further. And see what that pops up as. Well, nobody's done that yet. Created a Wikipedia page for American State National, but got bad news for you. You can go read this, but it basically is a much deeper dive into Dr. Sarteschi's article. Covers everything. Really gives you the roots of the movements. Here's the Moors. And I'm just scrolling for a reason, because here we go, folks. See what all this is right here. Okay. This is a target. This is telling everybody I'm a sovereign citizen, and I have the potential to be a handful. How's that? How's that for putting everything there? Now, groups such as the Moorish sovereigns, and this goes on and on and on. I think I've expressed my opinion on the sovereigns. I lump them in there too. I think they are a group of misaligned, misinformed, miseducated folks. And listen, I ain't got nothing against you, but how are you going to adopt a culture from over in the Middle East when you are allegedly ancestral from Africa, because you're African Americans, but more likely than not, you're probably more indigenous to United States of America than you are anything. And then you want to adopt this culture that, almost doesn't exist anymore because some treaty way back in the day that nobody alive has any authority with. I just, that's never made any sense with me right here. I'm part Moor. I've done my ancestry. You think I'm going to run out here and go, oh, I'm Moorish, and it just doesn't make sense. So you can go in here, and this poo-poos everything over in the private side. The American State Nationals and everything else. And, it covers just tax schemes and litigation and court cases, legal theories, immunities from law and taxes, straw man theory and redemption schemes, traffic, sovereign citizen and legal entities, David Wynn Miller right here. I know his ex-girlfriend. Here's Bruce Doucette of the Colorado Nine that belonged to who? Ann Von Reitz's Federation of States. Okay? And guess where he is? Oh, sorry. He's doing 38 years in prison. So when is the last time anybody over there in Ann Von Reitz's Federation of States Assemblies have you ever heard your state coordinator or Ann Von Reitz in her Monday night webinars ask for legal defense fund money, commissary money, or maybe money for Bruce's family? Y'all hear that? Crickets. That's what I thought. So let me just explain to you guys what y'all are playing with, okay? A freaking keg of dynamite that's already lit. It's going to blow up on you. You just, you may not be there when it happens, or you may be there when it happens. And this goes all the way into Canada, Australia, United Kingdom, Austria, Germany, Italy, Russia, France, Belgium, Czech Republic. Here's the groups. Constitutional Sheriff and Peace Officers Association. American Militia Movement. I don't know who those people are. Christian Patriot Movement. Subset of the broader American Patriot Movement that promotes Christian nationalism and emphasizes at its core goal and philosophy, like a larger patriot movement, it promotes an interpretation of American history in which the federal government has turned against the people. You see how they've done this? Citizens for Constitutional Freedom. I mean, these titles sound wonderful. I mean, right now, nobody will uphold the First Amendment against these social media companies like YouTube and Facebook. And what we know that Twitter was doing before Elon Musk purchased the company. So I understand why these people are coming out and they want constitutional freedom. They want the right to bear arms. They want free speech. They want free religion. They want freedom from illegal searches and seizures. Freedom from tyranny. They want to live in peace. We totally 100% comprehend that, yes, we have to have law enforcement in our lives. But law enforcement should protect and serve the people, not the corporation that they work for. They don't understand that. That's where the disconnect is. You work for a corporation. You're enforcing policy. Listen, that's what you're doing. You want to sit here and argue with me? I'll give you $10,000 if you can prove I committed a third-degree DWI on July 10th, 2001, pursuant to the law in effect at that time in the state of Texas. That goes for any law enforcement officer across the world. 10 grand, baby. Prove it. Prove all essential elements required in the penal code at that time. Can't do it. See, this is why I know our system's corrupt. Let me give you another little example. There's 14 courts of appeals, which are intermediary appellate courts in the state of Texas. We have the highest criminal relief court called the Texas Court of Criminal Appeals. Then we have the Texas Supreme Court, which is the Superior Court. So we have these 14 courts of appeals. Houston happens to be the only one with 2 districts, the 1st and the 14th. I've litigated in both. You're welcome. Let me explain to you how that works. So some attorney, okay, or assistant district attorney runs for office, okay? This is an elected position. It's not like something you earn, get elevated because of your judicial tenacity, I guess, or acumen. They get voted in. So if it's a Democratic sweep, and this is a really weak lawyer who just ran and got elected with the sweep. Okay, so who are we putting in there to adjudicate every field of law? That's what a justice on the Court of Appeals in the state of Texas does. They have to adjudicate every field of law. Not criminal, not civil, not commercial, not property, not family, not probate. Are you seeing where I'm going with this? Intellectual property, copyright, trademark. Are you seeing this? Who could know all that? Nobody. This is why I know for 110% fact that the court judicial system in America is defunct. It's inept. It's inadequate. It needs to be completely thrown aside and redone. I've clearly showed in previous videos. I pull it up right now. I will show you the Dun & Bradstreet background business report, business background report for the judiciary courts of the state of Texas, which are for-profit corporations. So all my law enforcement buddies out there, don't go over here and start beating up the messenger, okay? Because I have the facts. They are a for-profit corporation. The CEO is the Chief Justice of the Texas Supreme Court. Absolutely. They're a subsidiary of the state of Texas, Inc., Incorporated. Absolutely. And who's the CEO? Greg Abbott. If you don't believe me, just Google what is the definition of a CEO, or just do the reverse, a governor, and it'll tell you he's a CEO. So this is not a republic. This is a corporation that has taken over. And I get it. You guys don't understand. You can't wrap your head around it. You know, your pension, your livelihood, your family, you have kids in college, they all depend on you having your job in law enforcement. Totally understand. I'm not against that. And believe me, I'm all for law enforcement. Hey, we did the whole cops and robbers thing, and that's over and done with. You know, I'm just trying to save one person a day. I know I can't save the world, but if I can just get one a day, guess what? I'm making hay. How I'll look at it. So as we go through these, you know, they got these names on here. They have like One Encounter, Constitutional Sheriffs. I think this is Richard Mack and them. Embassy of Heaven. Yeah, I remember when they were around. Guardians of Free Republic. Kingdom Filipina Hacienda. Montana Freeman. More Sovereign Citizens. Patriot Movement. You see how they just patriot movement. So if you call yourself a patriot to the United States of America, okay, you're patriotic. You love your country. You love your state. I'm a Texan. I'm a Texas boy. We're proud to be Texas. But how can you be proud for a state that facilitated illegal immigration? 100%. Didn't do anything to stop it when they had $60+ billion to spare, did they? No. Took old Greg a couple of years to send the National Guard to the border to stem the flow of illegal immigration. Not once has he ever issued an executive order like he did during COVID and order the border to be sealed. Sure got everybody to leave their jobs and go stay in their houses, Greg. Stand 6 feet apart and wear masks, Greg. This is what I'm saying. Your government, there's no government. You've allowed your government to run over you. This is what I'm so blown away by, people in the FBI, people in the Secret Service, people in the CIA, who are supposed to be working for the people. But you guys, nobody will stand up and start going arresting these people and putting them in jail that are clearly treasonous. They've allowed this country to turn into a cesspool. Some of these cities, oh my God, I can't even believe what these people are going through. Thank God I don't have to do that. I couldn't imagine my nice little rural town that I grew up in all of a sudden being overwhelmed with Haitians. People who don't speak a lick of English. Could you imagine that? Or Venezuelans, and they're all prisoners from prison gang. So this is what I'm trying to do is, dispel some of these labels that, have been applied across the board. Because God dang, man, I grew up in, elementary school, put my hand on my chest, I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, for which it stands. Thought that was being patriotic. So now I can't be a patriot because if I say I'm a patriotic patriot, that now I'm labeled as an extremist. You're going to tag me and lump me in with everybody else? How fair is that? It's not fair at all. So we need to get rid of all these labels. Politics is corrupt. No way politics is going to fix this country. You just saw Biden sent another $700+ million to Ukraine to fight a hopeless, useless war. At your federal government, there's chemtrails in the air, spraying you, killing you, poisoning you, treating you like the insects they really think you are. The useless eaters, the parasites. But they're the real parasite because they live off what? How do governments survive? Yeah, they sell bonds, Floyd, but they have to pay those bonds back. No, they survive on fines, fees, and taxes. They are for-profit corporations. So everybody in law enforcement, I don't care what level you work on, you're working for a corporation. You're enforcing corporate policy. If you don't believe me, go to any law library in the United States, go pull out a West's law book, any West's, and open it up, and that book will be copyrighted. How can you copyright law? If law is copyrighted and you rewrite that law, copyright violation. Is it making sense? Can you see the things together? Let me express this to you, okay? I'm the only person in the world that I know of who has taken 3 government-issued ID numbers, put them in the Depository Trust Clearing Corporation's former gmeiutility.org software program. 3 different numbers. My certificate of live birth number from the state of Texas, my social security number issued by the Social Security Administration, and my Texas Department of Criminal Justice Correctional Institution Division ID number 0012112365. All 3 of those numbers, when I inputted them into the gmiutility.org website, I came up with the exact same accounts from all over the world, which means those 3 numbers are somehow connected in some database. Well, why are my 3 numbers connected in a database for the Depository Trust Clearing Corporation? Why don't you explain that to me? Why under section 7.201 and 202 of the either Uniform Commercial Code or Texas Business Commerce Code is everything that requires in a warehouse receipt is in a judgment and sentence? Because the account number is the case number in court. When they transfer the property over to the TDCJ, because you got remanded to the sheriff to send to TDCJ, you see what I'm doing here? See how the cargo is being moved? Once you get to TDC, that's your warehouse receipt number. So when you're in the CID of the Texas Department of Criminal Justice and you make parole, all they do is transfer the cargo to the parole division. Now the cargo can move around out on the streets, but under supervision. Are you seeing this? And once they discharge, guess what? That cargo can go wherever it wants. I just tell everybody in law enforcement, man, go do your own research. Don't. I'm not trying to argue with you. Okay? These are facts. You cannot dispute. So don't shoot the messenger on both sides of the fence, okay? Because I know I got law enforcement over here, and I got the sovereign citizens of American State Nationals over here, and I haven't even dove into the real meat and potatoes. Because this is such a serious issue. Because the last thing we need in this country is civil unrest deliberately created by outside forces outside the United States that create chaos. And then the federal government goes on a mass roundup because they don't know who's who or what's what. And you all get swept up just because you've gotten categorized or labeled or because you associated with some group. Are you seeing what this looks like? But there's a lot of people out there that want to save this country. They're doing everything that they can. They're talking to as many people as they can. They're trying to make as many contacts as they can. Because we know this country is, we're going to lose it. We're going to lose a lot of it, if not all of it. So it's time that we have a meeting of the minds, a mature conversation about real world things that affect everybody on every level. I'm not doing this for me. I'm not doing it for my daughter who's 25. I'm doing it for her kid. That's who I'm doing it for. And that child isn't even born yet. That's what I'm going to do. So you have some more of these over here. And I'm sure, you know, they just add whoever they want. Some of this stuff I've never even heard of. Individuals. And I'm sure some of the illustrious ones. Some of the concepts also. So that's the Wikipedia that clearly has the peace flag in here as symbology. So let me move on to the next one. Yeah, I wanted to look at that one. Names of sovereign citizens' names. You know, of course, we know Terry Nichols and Timothy McVeigh with the whole Oklahoma City bombing. But I want to come down here. There you go. Adding El Urbe, African names, part of a Moorish sovereign citizen subgroup. Using punctuation, dashes, hyphens, colons, or commas. Signing names with unusual spelling, such as John of the family Doe instead of John Doe. Adding Latin phrases like sui juris, meaning of one's own right, to names on legal documents. All right. All of this is symbology of sovereign citizens. All of this. It's been sullied by so many people that don't know what they're doing. They're trying to half step. And listen, I'm guilty. I'm not going to sit here and, like, you know, try to climb up on the pedestal and act like I've never done anything wrong. I told you guys, I'm the first one to admit my mistakes, share my mistakes, so you don't do what I did and make a mistake and waste what, folks? Your time, your money, and your energy. 3 things you can't get back once you expend them. So let's roll through here. There's some more tabs. Institute for Strategic Dialogue, Sovereign Citizens. I don't even have to say a word, do I? Sovereign citizen ideology has its roots in a white supremacist Christian group from the early 70s called Posse Comitatus, Power of the Country. So that's what it's saying. It started, gives you the evolution, the beliefs, 14th Amendment, straw man, not the private plates, financial schemes, paper terrorism, real world harm, international manifestations where it's growing, as you see, we got Vice, ADL, SPLC. Listen, these 2 entities right here, they're no good. Southern Private Law Center, they're no good. Sorry. ADL, no good. I know because I've had interactions with both of them. This self-serving. That's all the SPLC is. Federal Bureau of Investigation, Federal Bureau of Investigation Program on Extremism, George Washington University. So let me move on to the next one because I have a whole slew of this stuff. Here you go. Here's a quick guide to sovereign citizens from the University of North Carolina School of Government, revised from November 2013. And I found this, because it is so old. 2013 is about the time that I learned of all this stuff. But it breaks it down. You know, it's just a repeat, pretty much, parroting of the the same stuff over and over and over. All the behaviorisms and characteristics, terminology, phraseology, symbology. And this is the problem. It's just when people half-ass this stuff and they really don't know how to operate in trust, this is where they get screwed up, because they haven't done everything that they need to do legally and lawfully. They think they can operate outside. You can't. You can't go in to my sandbox and bring your own toys and play with me, because I have my own toys. But I don't want to play with your toys. I don't like your toys. So quit bringing your toys over to my sandbox. You want to come play? You're going to play with my toys. We're going to play together. Otherwise, guess what? We're in disagreement. We're in an adversarial position. We're arguing. You become combatant. You see where that leads to? This is why I tell everybody. If you're on the side of the road, doesn't matter whether you're sitting in your car, you get pulled over by a law enforcement officer, you need to just, behave, act normal. If you got an issue that you have a right to travel, the cop is not the judge. The cop is not the prosecutor. The cop is not going to make a deal with you unless he wants to give you a warning. But if you come up with all this sovereign citizen bullshit right off the fucking bat, you're not getting a warning. You're probably going to get your car impounded and you're going to go to jail. And you're going to get a mass of tickets for being stuck on stupid. But I've been telling you over, and y'all ain't listening. And the reason this video is so important, because there are TikTokers out there that have 100,000 subscribers with this peace flag all over their profile. Same thing over on Facebook and all these other social media platforms. And y'all just following Ann Von Reitz and David Lester Straight and these other people like they're freaking God. It's unbelievable. If you want to know about history, hey, it's free right here in the internet. You have the best library right in front of you. It's on your phone. How compact can you get than that? Remember when you were a kid and you went to school and they didn't have, or you went to the public library and they didn't have a book and you had to order the book from another library and you had to wait until it got there? Well, gee, you don't have to do that now. It's right here on your device. You can look up anything. Unless you're on YouTube or Google, where it is censored and you don't have your First Amendment rights anymore. They took them away, and your federal government will not enforce that. Your attorneys general up there, called Merrick Garland, he don't care about you and your free speech and your rights and your right to bear arms. All he cares about is getting these illegals in here. That's their number one agenda, aside from this huge multi-billion, if not multi-trillion dollar money laundering scheme they got going on, sending all these billions to all these foreign countries. Why do you think these Congress people take these trips that you don't ever hear about, you don't even know about, to all these different countries? They're cutting freaking deals. They're getting the inside information so they can come back and they can rig the stock market and they can become multimillionaires as a politician, voting for the corporation, giving themselves pay raises, taking a month off when there's a debt crisis looming. We've got a president in the United States that has been uncognitive for years, and everybody in the federal government has hidden it. Everybody in mainstream media that wasn't professing it has hidden it. Now we've got what, 3 more months? Kamala's out on the campaign trail. Who the hell is making decisions? Was it Joe when he was at the beach? That's what I'm trying to explain to you folks. This can go sideways real quick, but we have to come together to harmonize. We can't be divisive. We can't label ourselves, oh, we're American state nationals. We hate the government. And we don't know. No. All that's going to be put aside here real quick by outside forces beyond our control. Who had Haitians eating cats for September? Are you seeing how weird the world is? How the crazy went insane and everybody allowed it to happen? Everybody thought it was a good thing to just let the trans pedophile agenda run hog wild within the Democratic Party, seize it, take it over, and infiltrate that evil satanicness throughout our country at all levels. That's what it looks like. I'm not saying the Republican Party is lily white and in the choir. No. I hate politics. Politics is corrupt. Too much power. It's an antiquity. It's an antique. Our whole country's in another century. Our court system is behind. Let me explain to you that, okay, real quick. Just get this visual. Do you know how long it takes and how many courts you have to go through? How much money it costs, or time, or energy to get to be reviewed at the United States Supreme Court? Sometimes you have to go through your district court on a post-conviction writ of habeas corpus. And then you're going through the Court of Criminal Appeals, and then you can get up there. If you're going through the federal level, you got to go through your U.S. District Court, then you got to go through your U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals. Then you get there. Or if you're in a death penalty case, it takes 10 to 15 years to adjudicate, to get you through the court so many times. How many cases do the United States Supreme Court review every term? How many cases are submitted to the United States Supreme Court every term? The Supreme Court adjudicates 10 to 15% of all submitted cases. Is that justice? Is that fair? Do you see how the system is broken? It's irreparable because there's no way that those justices can adjudicate that many cases. Why are there that many cases? We have way too many laws. Somebody over at ALEC is dreaming something up, and boom, they draft a bill and shoot it out there. Some legislator, oh, this is a great idea. Boom, and they get it passed because they have the majority. They attach it on to something else like they're doing right now in Congress. That's what that looks like. So this goes on and on and on about who these people are, what all they do. Here's a terminology. Copyright after a person's name. Well, my name is copyrighted. An EIN rather than a social security number. Who's the victim? IRS form 1099 OID. Ooh, remember that process? Use near with zip code. Dishonor in commerce. Thumbprints on documents. Common law. Wow. Common law. Huh. Can't even use common law anymore, folks. That's now been sullied. Indigenous. I can't use indigenous. Hold on. Whoa. So because I got this little card right here that says Muskogee Creek Nation Citizenship ID from Okmulgee, Oklahoma. I'm an indigenous American Indian. So now I'm like part of some terrorist group. See, that's what I'm saying about how these words, terms, and phrases and symbology get hijacked and then get sullied. Just good old everyday words that everybody should be using that are applicable. And this is how some of these governmental agencies or these other non-governmental agencies or organizations, rather, like the Southern Poverty Law Center and the Anti-Defamation League and whomever, take a word, indigenous, really, and apply it blank, just across the board to American sovereign citizens and sovereign citizens. That is the most ridiculous thing I think I've ever seen. Whoever did that, you're stupid, you're dumb, you're probably borderline mentally competent to be executed in the state of Texas. And if you don't know what that is, do your own research and go look it up. You can barely walk and talk, apparently. Use red ink. Jesus Christ. What's wrong with purple? Purple's royalty. Red ink represents blood. Anything wrong with signing your name in blood? That's a representation. I mean, where's your oath of office? Brackets around the zip code. Domicile. Chargeback notice. U.S. minor, outlying islands. Executor. So you can't be an executor of a trust. Okay. If you are, apparently you're a sovereign citizen. So, see, this is how stupid this stuff is. This is how it's gotten just ridiculous. Unbelievable. And this is all old stuff. Yeah, because now that's UCC 1-308. And, this is from North Carolina. No wonder. This is from a college. Well, that explains everything. Yeah. A bunch of college students wrote this. Now, remember, this is from 2013, I think. This paper may be used for educational purposes without permission. Use for commercial purposes or without acknowledgement is prohibited. 2012, 2013, School of Government, University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill. Well, I probably should update this because you guys are way behind. But much of the information on this paper was provided by detectives Rob Finch and Corey Flowers of Greensboro, North Carolina Police Department, Amy Funderburk of North Carolina Administrative Office of the Courts, and David Adenolfi of North Carolina Attorney General's Office. Well, listen, I'll talk to anybody. I'll talk to any, like I tell you guys, when I jammed up that Department of Homeland Security attorney in Puerto Rico, and he couldn't answer my question. Or that IRS agent that was over the 1098-F form that I silenced when I told him, well, how come a 1098-F form, which is fines, penalties, and other amounts, and that is an IRS form, it must be filed by the governmental organization or non-governmental organization whenever there is a investigation of the violation of law or a violation of the law, period. End of story. So how many of y'all have filed that? How many of y'all's department, agencies, or bureaus have filed those? No? How many courts have filed those? I'm listening. 0. That's tax evasion. That's tax fraud. It's probably a multi-billion-dollar, if not trillion-dollar whistleblow that I confronted him with. And he couldn't say a word. And he just happened to call while I was doing my show live. So the entire conversation was recorded during my show. Absolutely. Because when you present real true facts, real true law that's precedent in the jurisdiction that we're in and we're talking about. So I'm not going to bring no Nebraska bullshit state law to the state of Texas and assume it has some type of authority, because it has zero authority. Period. It can be used for guidance. It can be used to look to other statutes in other jurisdictions for harmonization, comparison. There's many types of legal theories that deal with that issue. Oh no, I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. I've never litigated before in my entire life. That's why I'm a multi-published litigator, all pro se. Let's move on to the next one. All right, where'd that one go? I just did that one. Yep, quick guide. Why isn't this one coming up? Oh, that one's the one I want. There we go. This is from the Anti-Defamation League, ADL.org. Sovereign Citizen Movement in the United States. It's the first thing you see, folks. This is going to get real repetitive. You're going to see this flag everywhere. And what's the word with it? Don't sit here and tell me it's an oxymoron. Don't tell me it doesn't exist, because I'm showing you it's a freaking thing. It's a target on your back. It's a target on your house. It's a target on your car. If you would like to run around with a target on your back, or you're just making it out on Front Street with a neon sign saying, hey, I'm an extremist, pursuant to every law enforcement agency, bureau, and department in the world, not just in your jurisdiction, not just in your county, parish, state, or country. You people need to wake the fuck up. And, you know, we can sit here and dig into this and dig into this, dig into this, dig into this, but, you know, hey, you know, it's the same stuff. Here, look. Now they're throwing in MAGA supporters. Sovereign citizens in recent years have been able to grow their movement by appealing to new audiences, including anti-vaxxers, QAnon adherents, and MAGA supporters. Okay? No, I want us to take the country back organically. There's no way. Listen. Here, let me get through this real quick. Sovereign citizen arguments and theories tend to have two things in common. They're pseudo-legal in nature. See, this is what I'm telling you guys. You know, y'all listen to these stupid-ass legal morons who you think's a legal guru who doesn't have not one fucking published case. Not one. Probably has never even litigated in any court unless they were getting tried and convicted with a public defender or court-appointed attorney. Most of them haven't litigated, wouldn't even know how to draft a writ of quorum vobis. Yeah, you ever heard of that? Writ of procedendo, writ of quo warranto. I filed all those Latin vehicles. They're often examples of magical thinking, okay? So I'm not making this shit up. Other people are making this shit up and applying it to the sovereign citizen American state national movement. and it's sticking. Here's Bruce Doucette again. Who's this name? Ann Von Reitz. Hold on. Sovereign citizen gurus and groups. This is what I'm telling you, folks. If you're freaking in a sovereign citizen group, an American State Nationals, flying the peace flag, bam, here it is. I'm just a messenger. You're in the wrong place with the wrong people. You need to repudiate all of that shit that you did with Anna and David and all these other stupid ass assemblies that call themselves American State Nationals or State Nationals. Y'all got to get off this shit. Y'all got to take that peace flag, man, and, hide it. Peel it off your car. Peel it off your window. Peel it off your door. Here's Russell J. Gould. Here we go. The most popular sovereign citizen guru since 2021 have been David and Bonnie Straight, Bobby and Tia Lawrence. Okay? Y'all think I'm making this shit up. Now, I know most of you are looking at the thumbnail and y'all see a name on there, Chris Hauser. Why is Chris Hauser on there with Ann Von Reitz and David and Bonnie Straight? Floyd? Well, let me tell you about Chris Hauser. I went and read Chris Hauser's entire court records, everything that's available in the public. I watched the 2 videos from the Tennessee Court of Criminal Appeals and Tennessee Supreme Court on YouTube. You can go watch them. And being from Tennessee, there was a disruption at the time that Chris was in jail with his 6 co-defendants or 5 co-defendants. They were awaiting trial. Apparently, some sovereign citizens had created a disturbance in Knoxville, Tennessee, prior to the trial, close to the trial, right before they selected the jury. So one of these brilliant legal strategists, probably Chris Hauser, decided they wanted to change a venue. They didn't want to get tried in Knoxville. They wanted to go get tried in Nashville, where there was less media attention on sovereign citizens. So the entire theory and legal basis of their argument and authorities to get a change of venue from Knoxville to another county jurisdiction in Tennessee was that they were sovereign citizens. Absolutely, 110%. So Chris Hauser is a self-admitted, on the record, for the record, and by the record, a sovereign citizen filed in the Tennessee court records. I swear to tell the truth, whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help me God. If I didn't do that already, the Bible's behind me, behind my drop screen behind me. Sovereign citizen tactics, paper terrorism, harassment. $1099 forms. I wonder who brought up the whole 1099 package. Let's see. Adrian Avril Pereira, a Colorado sovereign citizen, allegedly sent bogus IRS 1099 forms to 2 police officers and a judge following traffic stops of Pereira in 2001 and 2022 for having bogus sovereign citizen license plates on her car. The forms claimed the victims owed her large sums of money, $3 million in the judge's case. Her tactics disrupted the case against her, resulting in recusals and postponement. Bogus IRS filings are merely one form of paper terrorism. One of the oldest and simplest tactics is filing a frivolous lawsuit. After Pereira was charged for her false IRS forms, for instance, she retaliated with a $22 million lawsuit against 3 prosecutors and an investigator. In another case, I don't want to get into all this, but yeah, these are just, one event after another. And they're doing these judgments and they're filing fraudulent UCC1 liens, financing statements, which is so frowned upon here in the state of Texas that it's listed in 4 different codes: Civil Practice and Remedies Code, Texas Business Commerce Code, Texas Government Code, and the Penal Code. They want to screw you with their penal. Yeah, right? There's a reason they call it the Penal Code. They got you over the barrel. The old barrel. There's the bogus liens. And that's what Chris Hauser did. That's how he got in jail. He paid one of his co-defendants $6,500 to basically put him in prison, to file fraudulent liens against his now ex-wife, then wife, her attorney, the judge, and a host of other people, in which there was no security interest or security agreement between the parties, that Chris declared he was the secured party and that they were the debtors for multi-millions of dollars. Yeah, and he has about 80,000 people that follow him on YouTube. I know, isn't that nuts? Because nobody wants to do their homework. Nobody wants to research. So that's why I don't do anything anymore. Nothing. I'm not trying to hear shit. I listen to all the gurus, and all the gurus are wrong. They're full of shit. They're grifters. They're liars. And we sit here and go through all this. You may know some of these people. You may have encountered them in Telegram, on Facebook, in your assembly. $18 months in the BOP for filing bogus liens against different federal judge who had given Xena a 50-year sentence in a drug smuggling case. We just got some consecutive time stacked on top of that 50 years that he's not going to get out on if he's in federal prison. That's pretty much a death sentence. Scams and tactics. You know, this is his weird first name. Katarius wasn't unique enough that you went to Tariq Akil Anad. All right, brother. Let's see. What did he do? Johnson, a sovereign citizen, and run a multifaceted fraud scheme targeting financial institutions and governmental agencies, including the Small Business Administration, in which he obtained the COVID-19 relief funds. John used no, well, that's not necessarily being a sovereign citizen to do that. A bunch of people did that. I think everybody took advantage of that. Not everybody, but you know what I mean. All the ones who had ill intent in their modus operandi, their mens rea. So I just want to go through this because it gives you a bunch of examples about, you know, what all these schemes are, what all they're doing, when they happen. This is very thorough from the ADL. Of course, they're going to put all this in here. And, you know, again, they just lump everybody, you know, they throw the baby out with the bathwater. Really don't care. Doesn't affect them. But they got a bunch of them because we're just halfway through. I'm just kind of glazing through here, see if I recognize anybody. Now, you see here, bills of exchange. Now, I know people that getting these things to work. So, don't, you know, like I said, they're covering everything. Good, bad, and different. They don't care. Threats and confrontations. course, I have covered a lot that have happened here lately across the country. Really broke my heart when the kid in Utah got executed on the side of the road, regardless of the circumstances. No. And here we go with this is Ann Von Reitz's right-hand woman, the one who is her firewall for her Monday night seminars or webinars. And let's read this, okay? Because what Terry did, let me explain to you exactly what she did. Remember, I'm under oath. Terry Somm used Ann Von Reitz's Sign in America program and lost her house. Yeah, apparently lost a nice house. She's still with Anna, still believes in Anna. I think Anna's giving her money or something. I don't know what the hell the deal is there. Doesn't make any sense. If I followed somebody's process and lost my house that I've lived in for a long time, probably had a lot of equity in, yeah, I wouldn't be fronting your webinars. I wouldn't be your cheerleader, but here we go. So anyway, her house got foreclosed on. She didn't want to go challenge it in court. She was going to rely on Ann Von Reitz to come save the day, but you know what Anna did? And then the sheriff showed up and evicted her. So the house was sold to a new owner. But what Terry did, instead of going and finding a new home, apparently she broke back into the house with some other people. Same cars in the driveway with the same Max Taylor license plates that say American State National with the peace flags on them. And the eagle, the seal. And then when the new owner came to, I guess, look at his new prize, surprise, there's somebody in the house. What? So he knocks on the neighbor's doors. Yeah, they moved back in. What? So he calls the sheriff. Sheriff comes out there. They don't answer the door. They know somebody's in there. So what do? Sheriff calls a SWAT team. Literally. Armored personnel vehicle. Literally. They blew the front door off the house to extract Terry Somm and her cohabitants. Found a loaded firearm. Oh, yeah. Took her into custody because she followed Ann Von Reitz, who's a liar, a con, a grifter, and a scammer. And if you're involved in Ann Von Reitz's bank, oh, my God, you've lost all your money. I'm so sorry. Ask for a forensic audit. You're not going to get it. You're going to get expelled. You're going to get cut off from your money, from your account, from Anna, from the assemblies. You're going to find out all those people that you were hanging out with for, months, years. Oh, they can't talk to you now. Why? Because you're in a cult. You've been brainwashed. So you guys need to get the fuck out. Fix to get a real problem. So this is Terry Somm. This just goes on and on and on. And of course, this is the worst of the worst, folks. What you're not seeing is, Jane Doe got pulled over and she had the peace flag on the back of her car. She rolled her window down 3 inches. She handed the officer a passport, said she was traveling. But yet they came to an agreement and she got the ticket and drove off, and that was it. No big deal. You don't see that. You only see the extreme stuff because they want to dirty the movement, because they want to stay into control. They want the power. They want the authority. They want to be able to reach over to the FBI and go, and then the FBI go, yeah. Look at the big picture. Y'all aren't not looking at the big picture. So as we go on and on and on and on, what we got here in Texas, Rick Martin. I know Rick. Rick Martin, head of the Texas-based Constitutional Law Group, is one of these, providing ostensible legal notices for businesses to display that proclaim government officials would be trespassing unlawfully by entering the property of such businesses. Martin allegedly attempted to represent one defiant Michigan restaurant owner in court March 2021. The non-attorney Martin was arrested for contempt of court. Now, whether Rick was right, wrong, I don't know the circumstances behind this. I would have probably have Rick on the show and talk to him about it. Did the judge overstep his boundaries? But, you know, I can tell you here, okay, in Texas, I have tons of experience in Texas. If I told you some of the stuff that they did to me, you would be mortified if you were in law enforcement. What if I was your son, your brother, your father, your uncle, your cousin, your nephew? Imagine the movie Con Air with Nicolas Cage and John Malkovich and Buscemi. They're all bundled up. They got the waist chains. They got the lock box and the handcuffs chained to their waist, ankle cuffs. That's how I was in the Walker County, Texas grand jury room litigating in front of Judge, what's his first name? He passed away, Judge Keeling. He was the presiding judge of that court. However, there was a visiting judge in his courtroom adjudicating the docket while we were in the grand jury room of Walker County on the second floor of the courthouse, and I could look out the doors into the courtroom. And we were at the judge's bench, and I had a chain bag, an onion sack full of my legal materials to come litigate. And I was up against a man and a woman that represented the Texas Attorney General's office. I didn't know at the time, but one of them was a hired gun by the Texas Attorney General. The other one worked for the Attorney General. They had to hire outside counsel to handle me. And not only did they handle me, but Judge Keeling and I debated. We had a friendly, adult, mature conversation between two men, whether or not the state of Texas was a republic or a corporation, and whether his court was a for-profit corporation. And he swore to God it was a republic. And I kept telling him, nope, I got the Dun & Bradstreet business background report on the judiciary courts of the state of Texas, sir. And they are for-profit corporations established in 1845 by the people because they are a subsidiary of the state of Texas, Inc., established in 1836. Well, I'm going to ask you this, okay? If that's the fact, then why isn't that a corporation filed in the Secretary of State's office? Is that not fraud? Looks like it to me. I've got the Dun & Bradstreet background business report. I also have the Dun & Bradstreet business report for County of Harris, room 351, where the chief executive officer is Mark Kent Ellis. Yeah, former 351st Judicial District Court of Harris County, Texas, Judge Mark Kent Ellis. It's a corporation. Don't for a minute think they're not. Don't make somebody like me go into a courtroom and put you on the stand and dress you down. I would much rather have a conversation with your leadership, your executive leadership. A real conversation with real people, real movers and shakers across this country. I'm not mentioning any names, but believe me, people who are really movers and shakers in this country. I have that ability. I have this unique position that God has put me in. I'm trying to save you from yourself, from your denial, your addiction, because you're addicted to this sovereign citizen bullshit, this ideology. I tell everybody, you want to change? Do what the Democrats did. Do what the communists did. They did it all internally. They set a game plan over a period of time, and they completed that playbook. And now what do we have? We have a satanic evil agenda here in the United States of America. They want to eradicate the middle class. They want the uber wealthy and everybody else. They want all the middle class Americans on the level of a third world country. They live up in their gilded cages. They don't care about you. Congress are all multimillionaires. If they're not, then they probably have a little of a honorable constitution. So let's dive back into this while I was talking about Rick. I told you I'd run into somebody that I knew in here. Absolutely. Well, President Trump, I don't know him. His raging war to bring justice to a malevolent cabal of Satan-worshiping Democrats and left-leaning pedophiles who control the U.S. government as the deep state. Well, Anti-Defamation League, if you've seen the videos that I have seen, the videos that you can never unsee once you do see them, and they will always stay with you. It's violent, horrible, depraved, absolutely 110% evil acts by some of these politicians and celebrities. It's appalling, grotesque. I went down all the rabbit holes. I did my research. For most of you who don't know and haven't watched my show and are watching my show, I want you to Google this name, Noel Benoist. That's how it sounds, but usually they say Benoist, but it's Benoist. And you'll find he's the co-author of the 200-Year Plan with the late FBI whistleblower Ted Gunderson. Noel is a former NSA whistleblower. He worked for the NSA from 66 to 69 before he teamed up with Ted and blew the whistle. Noel had the highest security clearance you could have in the United States government, Magic. Magic is a group called Majestic 12. Noel was their personal fire person. He's the one who either went and created an event or squelched an event all around the world during those 3 years. He excelled. He became the 13th seat for the Majestic 12 because there were only 12 seats. Look up the security clearance for Magic. So I have a little inside story about what the hell's really going on. You don't know what Majestic 12 was, and it's a conspiracy theory. Majestic 12 is the group that negotiated with the alien race with the United States government. That's who Majestic 12 is. They still exist. Don't think they don't. This is a satanic agenda. And I said not all Democrats are satanic or pedophiles. I said the Democratic Party's been hijacked. overrun, overwhelmed, and brainwashed their constituents. They do not have your goodwill at heart. All they want is power and money. And they don't care who they have to kill to get there. Think about that. So it goes into, Trump this, Trump that, of course. Because why? The ADL should say a den of liberals. And of course they want to stop Donald Trump. Because more likely than not, and this is for entertainment purposes only, I'm not giving legal, medical, or financial advice. They're probably in on it too. They could be pedophiles. They could be Satanists and worship Lucifer and hang out with Abramovich. They may even have taken trips to Epstein Island. You just don't know. It's a big maybe, isn't it? So if we're talking about the sovereign citizen movement, why are we talking about med beds, the storm, the cabal, Trump, QAnon, MAGA? Why? Here's Ann Vandersteel, Alan and Francine Fosdick. I've heard that name. I don't know who they are. But this is how they take everybody and they dump everybody in one bucket, in one dumpster, one receptacle, even though there says recycling, waste, paper, plastic, glass, metal. They just throw you over in the other one. They don't care. So we're getting down to nitty gritty. Now we're talking about J6, Oath Keepers. Some gurus like David Straight mix in a QAnon style references to portray Child Protective Services employees as satanic sex traffickers to make parents even more fearful and angry. January 2023, Bonnie Straight urged their followers to contact law enforcement in Fayette County, Kentucky to demand Child Protective Services to stand down from any action involving one of Straight's followers who risk being sued in federal court for kidnapping and child trafficking. Wow, I know that didn't turn out well. But let me tell you about Child Protective Services. There is a minimum of I would say $80,000 to $120,000 bounty on the head of every child taken into Child Protective Services. Most of you in law enforcement have no idea what's really going on. Child Protective Services is not a good thing. It is not. I talk to people all over the country all the time, and I hear some of the most horrendous stories. How these people have been fighting in court, and the court sides with the abusive spouse or the abusive guardian, the one who's doing it all, and the one that the actual child should be with, no. And I've watched some of these women fight years, spend every penny they have, every minute of every waking moment trying to get their child or children back. Yeah, horror stories. Horror stories. Every child has a bounty on it. They're worth a lot of money. That's why CPS is so prolific. That's why they're so readily take these kids out of these homes, put them in foster homes. And then the foster homes, man, that's how they make their living. They cycle these kids through there. They don't give a crap about them. They don't care how they treat each other, how they're, fed, educated, fed. It's sick. So we're going to keep going on. I don't want to get off all into that. That's just a real another thing. This is all into Larry T, Desmond Cruz, Marquise Lampley, Jason Raymond Bugs, Keith Lloyd, Steve Lorenzo, Orrin Bivens, Kenneth Williams. This is where it's spreading worldwide. And here we go, the Anti-Defamation League. Of course, you know, New York, New York. We know New Yorkers are all liberals. Your little blue town. We have no bail. This is from Police One. 9 things to prepare for when encountering sovereign citizens. This is by Jason Hoskauer, September 6th, 2024, 6 days ago. More examples. Nine indicators that you may be in contact with a sovereign citizen. All right. So if you're doing any one of these 9 things, you better stop. License plates, they may refer to the republic of a state, sovereign on the state itself. Sovereign citizen may give you a pile of paperwork when simply prompted for a license. That would be the travel binder. Sovereign citizen may ask for your oath of office, which, you know, shouldn't be a problem. You should just like have that. Oh, yeah, I got an oath of office. Why? I swore an oath to uphold the state and federal constitutions. What's so bad in that? But see, they've sullied this. Why? A lot of judges and elected politicians don't have an oath of office. Anybody in law enforcement, if you don't believe me, just start looking. It's a requirement under law, but yet they don't have them. And who's holding them accountable? See, the people you should be like investigating, you're not. Just like the 178th Judicial District Judge, Kelly Johnson, who just skated on 2 DWIs that she got. Well, she got let off on 1 because I could lose my career. Should we call Sheriff Ed Gonzalez? You know, I'm a judge and, you know, I just went through this real bad trial and well, lady, you were driving the wrong way and you ran over a curb. You smell of alcohol. And then that sergeant and another Harris County Sheriff's deputy let her go. Didn't write her a warning. Didn't give her a ticket. Let her go. If she had killed somebody, they would have been liable. That would have been on their conscience. But yet they let her go. 2 months later, has another encounter right here by my house in Spring Branch. Gets a DWI. They just dismissed it for lack of evidence because she didn't have any drugs or alcohol in her system. Well, if you knew the law in the state of Texas, you can have a blood alcohol content of 0.08 or greater. You can have the detections of prescription or illegal drugs in your system. Okay? You can get a DWI with prescription drugs. Absolutely. Because if you're only required to take 50 milligrams and there's 5,000 milligrams in your system when you're being tested and you have 100 million billion parts instead of 10 parts per billion. Yeah, they're going to get you for that. And then the other 2 ways, having lost your mental and or physical faculties. So obviously there was probable cause for them to pull her over because she was driving too slowly. That's a loss of mental and physical faculties. And they just dismissed the case because they didn't find drugs or alcohol. and they let that judge skate on 2 DWIs. Her whole claim to get this case dismissed was that she had a head injury, woke up in the hospital, didn't remember a thing with 14 stitches. But I guarantee you, with head trauma like that, found allegedly in the middle of a road, having a electric scooter accident, you would think that she would be 110% admonished by the neurosurgeon after all of these CAT scans and possibly MRIs to determine if she had any internal bleeding or any brain inflammation. They might have to put her in a coma, a chemically induced coma, to reduce the brain swelling. And I'm sure they told her to, you need to go to rehab and therapy, which she admits that she's doing now. But yet, what did she decide to do? Stay on the bench, continue to work, and go through a death penalty trial and a retrial. And then she gets in all this trouble. She gets in a domestic disturbance. She has a welfare check. She gets that one encounter where she skated on the DWI, and then she gets a DWI and gets it dismissed. Do you see where I'm going with this? You see the impartiality? See how the elite skate? Does she have an oath of office? I have no idea. I've been through all this. The judicial regional judge, Olin Underwood in Conroe, he's a piece of fucking shit. Sorry. But I'm going to call it like I see it. He's a piece of shit. He's a corrupt, fraudulent official. I said that on the air under oath. And I can prove it. Because I've never gotten a letter of assignment or order of assignment from my visiting judge over my case. You see all the fraud that they did to me? How about the prosecutor vouching for the credibility of a HPD officer? A 27-year veteran wouldn't get up on the stand and lie about the misdemeanor DWI. Now, would he? Constitutional violation. So I've already shown you 2 instances in my case alone. Remember, there's a $10,000 bounty for anybody who can prove I'm guilty of a 3rd-degree felony DWI in the state of Texas as of July 10th, 2001, pursuant to the laws in effect under 4909E1 and 2 of the Texas Penal Code. You have to prove all the essential elements, so you need to go find those in the trial record. You're not. Yeah, you're going to have to go read the clerk's record, and then you're going to have to go read the reporter's record. You're going to have to read the, of course, the clerk's record, which is the complaint, the indictment, charge to the jury, and then the reporter's record, which is the whole case in chief, the testimony. And never once will you ever hear the essential element to create a 3rd-degree felony. And they gave me 60 years. Yeah, I'll be on parole till I'm 100. 100. Is that fair and partial justice? You tell me. I can sit here and give you an example after example after example of fucking corruption. I can tell you to go investigate something, file a complaint, and you're not going to do it. Especially when it's on a governmental official. I don't know if y'all are being suppressed, told stand down, or you just don't have the fucking balls to get out there on that limb and be a fucking hero. Because that's what we need. We need some law enforcement officers and agents, detectives, whatever your title is. We need some heroes. Because right now we got a bunch of zeros. You guys aren't doing anything. Status quo. Listen, I don't give a shit what the fucking federal government says. Fuck the federal government. You encounter an illegal alien, arrest him. Put his ass on a fucking plane, fly him over his country, and kick his ass out the fucking door with a parachute. That's what you do. That's what you do. You work across your state and all your counties and you assimilate all these people from these same countries. You pull them in those counties and then you load them up on a plane and you send them back and you kick them out. If they were ballsy enough to make the trek from Venezuela, Brazil, Yemen, Somalia, Russia, China, they got the balls to skydive. Do you have the balls to initiate that? No. Texas has some of the weakest county sheriffs I've ever seen. Pitiful. Pitiful. I'm embarrassed, ashamed, and appalled at my legislative branch, my judicial branch. In the executive branch. Because the executive branch is the one who's letting all this shit happen. You're going to see Dan Patrick and Greg Abbott sit up there in Austin and talk a big, good game. But that's all they're doing is talking. So don't get labeled up in this bullshit, especially on this oath of office stuff. Listen, if you're in law enforcement or you're an elected official and you have a problem showing that you have and will take the oath of office to honor your state and federal constitution, if you won't do that, then what is your agenda? Who are you really representing? That's the question we all have, because when we go search for these oaths of office and they don't have an oath of office like it's required by law, and most of you don't know they have to have an anti-bribery oath as well, so they don't get bribed by a foreign entity. See, you guys don't know the law. You think you know the law because you went to some little criminal justice college in Huntsville, Texas, at the George H. Beto Criminal Justice Center. You think I don't know about all that? I personally know George Beto's son-in-law, J.Y. Walker. Absolutely. I know how the whole game works. You go to college, get a job over at TDCJ, you go to class with your uniform on, and you skate. You know how I know? I talked to the damn guards in TDCJ, and they told me, yeah, I got to wear my uniform. I can sleep during class. I don't care. Still graduate. Part of the system. I'm not saying all people that take the criminal justice course do that, but, and I'm not, and generally correctional officers are probably the lowest of the low on the tree as far as peace officer ranking and who should be advancing. And, yeah, that's how that works. So anyway, that was a pretty enlightening thing, a little article right there. Didn't really realize I was going to run into so many people that I knew in this endeavor. I'm not quite halfway finished. I want to make sure to show you all this stuff. So, can't stand the heat. Get the frick out of the kitchen. Legal Dictionary, legaldictionary.net, sovereign citizen. This has Heather Ann Tucci. Y'all don't know about her? You need to go read this case, USA versus Randall. Woo! What a story that is. So that's on their story. And she was sentenced to 4 years in prison. He was sentenced to 13 and 5 years supervised release. Ordered to pay over $550,000 restitution. How'd you like to get out and have to pay that? Imagine what kind of job you get for that. Well, this is Forbes.com. What is a sovereign citizen? On February 6th, FBI held a news conference about the growing problem. This is from April 14th, 2022 by J.J. McNabb. Sounds like a football player more than he does a journalist or writer. But anyway, here we go. We're bringing in now the Tea Party. Remember that? Here's Glenn Beck. Do you see how they bring all this shit in here? They just like want to drag everybody and anybody who's a real, true, patriotic person. I mean, is that what we have to say? I'm patriotic to the United States Party. I mean, seriously? No, not the Form 1099. Like Chris Hauser pontificated, file the 1099A and you'll be a millionaire like me, and have to retain a public defender to do my direct appeal in both the Tennessee Court of Criminal Appeals and the Tennessee Supreme Court because I'm a multimillionaire. Really? Okay. All right, Chris. You're a multimillionaire. You're a little public defender that you alleged claimed jurisdiction. We claim jurisdiction. We're going to win on jurisdiction. We're going to get this reversed on jurisdiction. And then if you listen to both videos, never once did anybody in both courtrooms ever mention the word jurisdiction. It never came up because it wasn't an issue, because Chris Hauser's a liar. I've told you guys this over and over and over. Y'all don't believe me. Y'all would like to stay with these people, continue this little movement, this little three-ring circus that you guys are going around in, never going anywhere. Nowhere. All right, stop sharing. Boom. Next one. Here is mystatusselect.com, American State Nationals. This is their dogma. I wanted to go through all these websites and just show you, who these people are, what they're all about, what they're trying to say. Click here to fill out our intake form to get started. You see how there's all this separation, all these firewalls and hoops and ladders and firewalls, and oh, here we go. Judge Ann Von Reitz. Anna's not a judge. So, but this is somebody who follows Ann Von Reitz, is brainwashed. This is a cult. And here you go. These are Evangeline Grace Nipfing. Apparently, I guess they're a husband and wife, brother and sister. I don't know about us. Yeah. Well, anyway, they follow Ann Von Reitz, so they're sovereign citizens, whether they like it or not. That's all I can tell you. I didn't make them sovereign citizens. They made themselves sovereign citizens by associating with American State National, not doing their own homework, and, just being a general stuck-on stupid. That's all I can tell you. You people have been warned over and over and over. All right, I just did. Name people who are American State Nationals and just, scroll down. So that's what you get there. Here's another group, American State Patriots. And I know you're like, oh, okay. Well, who are those guys? Support each other as lawful Americans to protect us from tyranny and to reclaim our God-given unalienable rights of life, liberty, property, and the pursuit of happiness. And you know what? I can't disagree with any of that. Not one word of it. Absolutely not. But see, members. They got member login, member registration. I shouldn't have to register anything. What does Regis mean? See, this is how ignorant these people are. You use words you don't even know. This is out of New York. You people kill me, man. Some of the stuff you say and do. The ideation is more or less correct. Just the basis fundamental of it. You know, hey, we all want the same thing. No governmental tyranny. We want all our rights. We want to be able to defend those rights. We want to be able to go to court and have those rights defended properly. We should be able to take Facebook to court every time they censor something that we post in Facebook and win. We should all own Facebook. We should all own YouTube and Google and Twitter. Yet you let these multi-billionaire CEOs of these companies exist and be free from prosecution or litigation. This is why I'm telling you the courts, the judicial system has failed us. It's a travesty. Your government hates you. All you got to do is just go post something negative on Facebook that you know that the fact checkers are going to take down and put you in Facebook jail. I'm trying to go to Facebook jail. They won't put me in Facebook jail for some reason. I told them all their fact checkers were lying. Fact check that. That's what I said. So anyway, by John DeYoung, Sue Juris. You know, listen, do I need to go any further than that? So next we have, oh yes, the same people. Now look, let me show you this. I want to show you this for a reason. All right. Professional services for American state nationals. Status Select provides professional services to those seeking to change their political status from United States citizens or naturalized citizens to American state nationals by preparing the necessary documentation for your recording for your submission. So you want somebody to change your status, so make you an extremist, a domestic terrorist. You're going to pay somebody to do that paperwork for you and that you don't even understand what the fuck it is. And then you're going to go file it somewhere on them telling you, oh, yeah, go file it over here in Pima County or in the land recorder's office, which is a farce, like Anna's Bank. Okay. Listen, if you're paying somebody to do your paperwork, listen, would you pay somebody to do your will if it wasn't your attorney? Would you pay somebody to create your trust that you're going to put all your assets in and then not even know what it is or how to use it or how to operate in trust? Would you go set up a bank account and then just give somebody else the authorized signature on that account? That's what you're doing. You're playing with fire. If you cannot go study the law, acts, treaties, constitutions, if you cannot go read and study, you have no business attempting any of this, regardless of what it is. Everybody's looking for the shortcut. They want to round the corners. You know, there is no rounding corners in this business. It's hard fucking work. It takes a lot of studying, a lot of research, a lot of comprehension. If you don't have a Black's Law dictionary sitting behind you and you're trying to do anything legally, you're fucked. I'll tell you that right off the bat. You don't even know what language you're communicating in. You're trying to speak English and they're speaking Latin and legalese. The same words you're using, they have a completely different meaning to them. So when you're in Texas and you're throwing Nebraska, Pennsylvania, New York, Florida law at a Texas case, you get laughed out of court. You get laughed out of the room. And then most of that garbage isn't even cited properly, like a citing should be properly cited in a legal vehicle. You people fucking amaze me at your legal ignorance, your gullibility to listen to anybody and everybody about anything and do anything that they tell you to do. I'm guilty of it. Yeah, I did the same thing. I was eager, ready to get there as fast as I can. When I ultimately discovered, hey, there's no fast way. Stop. When you get there, you'll get there, whatever that looks like. I'm looking for the path of least resistance, whatever that looks like. I don't care what it is. If it's a visit to a governmental office, or if it's doing some filing or some presentation, I don't know what it looks like. I don't care what it looks like. I don't care what it is. But if it gives me that Willy Wonka golden ticket, that's enough for me. But I want to save the world. I want to save America. I'm just so disheartened what has happened to this country. How the people just carry on in their daily lives like nothing's wrong. It amazes me. So we're going to continue. Sorry, I'm giving you all a little documentary, but, is what it is. I think we have about 3 or 4 or 5 more tabs, something like that. Here is asnsecure.com. Of course, again, you have to log in, a client login. So home, products, donations, help desk, American State National, American States Assemblies, TASA sitemap, LRO. So this is probably related to Ann Von Reitz. Sign in, guest user. You see how all these firewalls are up with all these different assemblies and organizations and wah this, wah that. American State Assembly. No American left behind. Become a qualified juror and elector. Become a recording secretary. Volunteer for an office in public service, as if you don't have to work hard enough at your full-time job to make ends meet. And they want you to come over here and volunteer and go in a circle. Okay? They want you to help run their state government. What's state government? They don't have a state government. This is what I tell everybody, especially the Texas Republic or Republic of Texas. Okay, they think they're going to stand up and take over something, and they're trying to take over land all the way up to Montana. If you can't fix that southern border in Texas, you got no business trying to take over the state of Texas in any shape, form, or fashion. And if you think those yahoos up there in Austin, Texas, are going to allow you to just waltz right in and kick them out of their chairs and sit behind their desks, the governor's mansion, in the state capitol, yeah, you're going to meet some Texas Rangers and Department of Public Safety troopers. They got a spot for you. They'll keep the light on for you. Remember, law enforcement never sleeps. So, American State Assembly. Get over here to the next one. And this is how pervasive it is, folks. It's everywhere. It's like a fucking disease. LinkedIn. LinkedIn even has a American State Nationals out of Nashville, Tennessee. I don't know who this belongs to. I wasn't even searching for it in LinkedIn. I was just searching for American State Nationals, and this popped up. And I'm like, what? LinkedIn? And there you go. That's how pervasive it is. I believe I have 4 more tabs. Sorry. And here we go. This is stopworldcontrol.com. American State Nationals. This is Max Taylor out of where? Las Vegas, Nevada. American State Nationals. Max Taylor makes the American State National license plates. And I guess this is his website. See if he has his old license plates over here for sale. Wake up at the world with these posters, flyers, and memes. So let's go see what this looks like. No. Yeah, not a bad website. You know, I mean, it's all going after legitimate things. There's a little thing on Google. For 8 years, Zach Voorhees was a senior software engineer at Google. He could no longer live with his conscience and revealed 950 pages that expose the agenda of Google. He says, Google, quote, Google manipulates mankind by hiding certain information, imposing other information. They blacklist thousands of websites, close quote. So this just goes on and on and on. You know, most of these people you've seen before, heard of, especially the topics. Okay, here's another one. I chose this one for a reason. Change your status to American State National. In God we trust. There's the flag again, but it's only $20 for lifetime access. So you're going to pay somebody to what? Be a member of some group? Why can't you just be social and be a member of a group? Have a social compact. Do it yourself. AOR and what? Freedom Bundle. How to get a passport as an American State National. How to voluntarily opt out of paying federal taxes. How to become an American State National as a naturalized citizen. How to become an American State National as a green card holder and permanent resident. And more, and more, and more. Here are the prices. You can become an American State National once recorded by where? Pima County, Arizona. So there you go. If you're just so hapless you have to pay somebody to do something for you, well, here's your ticket. And I don't think it mentions in here who runs this or owns this, but, you know, I'm going to say somebody affiliated with David Lester Straight. But they talk about the Freedom Bundle, and that's David Lester Straight stuff. So moving on here, we're almost done. All right, this is New Human Wealth or New Human New Earth Communities. New Human New Earth Communities. There you go. So it's got a ton of links. United States versus America. But guess who we see here? Another Ann Von Reitz supporter. This is what I mean by just so prolific. And so many people are just brainwashed and brain dead by following Anna and her stupid ass shit. Of course, there's the flag. More Anna. Anna Von Reitz. She will take your money and give you the finger. You will send her money as donations, and if you don't like how she's spending it, she will quote, "You can all go to hell." Close quote. Absolutely. Don't believe me? Go look at her Monday night webinar. She said it. No, don't need to go there. That was something else I was looking at. That was actually for my last night's video with Scam Anderson. Yeah, go ahead and pull that up. Just to let you guys know something. I always like to throw stuff in that has nothing to do with the video that I'm doing about, because people will catch it. So I didn't even snap to this until a couple nights ago, when the Fraternal Order of Police Officers decided they wanted to formally support Trump. Well, the gentleman who made that announcement was Joe Gimaldi, president. So this is Joe's background. He's president of the Houston Police Officers Union. He's the national vice president of the Fraternal Order of Police, with 356,000 law enforcement officers in the United States. And this other gentleman, this one preceded Joe over there at the police union. This is Ray Hunt. He's the executive director of the board for the Houston Police Officers Union. So I'll just scroll down here. There you go. So what this means is, for all of you who watched my video last night on Scam Anderson, were privy to have a private presentation by myself, or you got the private link over on Odyssey prior to its debut on YouTube. Well, hey, Scam Anderson, this is for you, or for anybody who's watching and still has communications with a serial kingpin street gang member. Okay, he's the leader of a street gang organization. We've got 356,000 law enforcement officers in the United States, bro. How do you think that's going to look when we do an investigation on you and find out all these other social media hosts that you used to go over and cyber stalk with your little clique? I told you, bro. I got you. You play with the wrong one. You came over and you thought you were just going to run all over Fearless Floyd. You thought I was a punk's punk, didn't you? You found out, didn't you? Oh, well, I'm not done. Wait till I go to Puerto Rico next month and take my binder on Scam Anderson with me. And Mark Zephyros and I, Mark in his wheelchair, go to the U.S. Attorney's Office in Puerto Rico, in San Juan. And then we go to that little hick town that Mark lives in Puerto Rico and file charges there. So you got to go sit in some little hick jail in Puerto Rico. Bro, we're going to have so much fun with you. We're going to toss you around like a beanbag at a cornhole contest. All right, everyone. As you all well know, thank you for being here. I hope you enjoyed the show. I hope you learned a little something, something, something. For all my brethren over in law enforcement, I welcome you with open arms. Please come on my show. And that goes for the other side as well. We're not here to argue. We're not here to fight. Okay? We're not enemies. We're not combatants. We are mature people over the age of 18 who can have a rational, calm, logical conversation on issues that are pertinent to every American. But the reason for the discussion is to find a solution, not to pick a fight. So I encourage anybody over in law enforcement. I've even sent out a invitation to Ray to come on my show. Whether he accepts that, I don't know. It just depends on what he's got going on with his career. You know, he's at the end of it. He's 59 probably. So, you know, he's looking at the end of a career. So hopefully I can get him on. If I can't, I'd love to have anybody else in any other law enforcement. If you'd like to come on and present yourself as your real self, or if you'd like to come on just anonymously with a pseudonym and a blacked out screen and discuss some things that you can't discuss in the public, we can handle it that way. We can do it live. We can do it pre-recorded. My phone number is available on my website, TheFearlessFloydShow.com. You're more than welcome to email me at TheFearlessFloydShow@yahoo.com. I'm on every social media platform as The Fearless Floyd Show. I mainly hang out over on Telegram when I do hang out on social media. And everyone, if you know somebody that's an American State National or more, or affiliated with David Lester Straight, Ann Von Reitz, or any one of the assemblies or Jural Assemblies, please send them this video, and hopefully they'll watch it and listen to me and take it all in before they make a decision. Because unless we, the people, the real white hats, harmonize and assimilate in one voice, one true voice, under God, with liberty and justice for all, in honor, good faith, and clean hands, or face the consequences of Lucifer's domain, which is hell on earth. That's where we're at, folks. You're living biblical history. I have inside reports from the Department of State as well as the CIA. If there's going to be some unrest, that it's a potential of 10 to 15 countries or cities will be lost, totally overrun, probably burned to the ground. That there are illegal immigrants being caught with maps that are leading them to caches of weapons, not just a couple Glocks, 9mm, or AKs or ARs. No. Full-blown military gear. Rocket launchers, yeah. Whole 9 yards. It's not in the public. It's not in mainstream media. It's not even in alternative media. You're hearing it me because I have a connection. Remember, everything I tell you is under oath. This is what I was told. I am really fucked up about this illegal immigration. Why? Because I've done almost 18 years of my adult life in Texas prisons, and I know 100% that if somebody has nothing to lose, what they're capable of. Because I have ink on my back done by a guy, can't remember his name, who was playing his radio too loud. And a guy in a cell next to him or a couple cells down, he didn't like being on the wind unit anymore. And he told that dude, man, keep that shit turned down. I don't want to hear that rap ass hip hop bullshit. He didn't listen. So the guy that had nothing left to lose, he punched his ticket. He got his bus ticket off the wind unit. He murdered that guy. That was his one-way ticket off the wind unit. When you have nothing left to lose, a life is meaningless if it accomplishes your goal. I've seen people killed over a stamp, a soup, for being black. 2 guys were assaulted in the Clemens unit back in the early 80s, probably 83, 84, on 123 dorm. Taped knives to their hands, stabbed 2 black guys over 100 times each. Miraculously, they both lived. In Texas prison, the only person that can carry a firearm inside the penal institution is the county sheriff. Bet you didn't know that. They negotiated a frickin' plea bargain before they surrendered. One of them had multiple life sentences. He had nothing left to lose. I've been in prison riots. I've tried to start prison riots. I know what prison's all about. It's the sewer of society. Now we've got the sewer of the world encroaching in our American way of life, degrading, depraving, raping, pillaging, plunging, killing. Not only are they killing human beings, now they're killing pets or ornamental animals such as geese and swans. Remember, these people come from sometimes jungle areas where they kill everything to eat it. And there's nothing left. And that's why they're so impoverished. They don't practice birth control, so they multiply. They have nothing to lose, so they have to hustle. Child abduction, not EBS. So illegal immigration for me is, my major thing. The economy and inflation, that would be next. I just got my fucking electric bill. $680 for 1 month. I'm going to have a conversation tomorrow with the electric company. You bet. That's outrageous. That's triple what it was a year ago. Triple. I can't sustain that. Nobody can sustain that. I'm not rich. I'm going to have to downsize. So probably when I get back from Puerto Rico in October, if not headed to to Puerto Rico, I'm definitely downsizing. So these are the matters that mean the most to me. Illegal immigration, because that's going to degrade the whole country. It's going to put us in a third world banana republic. Some of these cities are going to look like some of these third world cities. Remember when Trump said Haiti's a shithole? Well, they're going to do the same thing here, just like the illegals do when they get here. They trash everything. They don't care. I care. Who would have thought? Thank you for watching. I appreciate each and every one of you. If you'd like, hit that like button, subscribe, share, hit the notification bell, leave a comment below. Love to hear from you. I love to read what you have to say. I know I'm going to get some haters, but hey, don't hate the messenger. Hate the game. And this goes for both sides, law enforcement and the sovereign citizens. Because you guys cannot continue to operate in opposite. Something's got to give either way. Why? Because the last thing our law enforcement officers in America needs to do is have to deal with American citizens because of their ideology or their labeling or categorization or association with people that they shouldn't be associating with. Because there's a much bigger problem going to happen here in the United States. And you don't realize that because you're not hearing it or seeing it as I am on my level. It's going to be us. We are the white hats. We have to work with law enforcement. Law enforcement's going to have to work with us. They cannot do it alone. And most people are going, oh, Floyd, you love cops now? Well, not that I love cops. I've been fucked over by a bunch of cops. Literally. 2 of them lied on the stand to convict me for 60 years. Both of them lied their fucking asses off. My police report. Standing by one leg turn, denied. Walking turn, or let me see. One leg stand, denied. Walk and turn, denied. Horizontal gaze nystagmus, denied. Breath test, denied. Blood test, denied. I refused everything at the scene. Get downtown Central Intox. I refused to participate in any motor skills tests on the advice of my attorney. Who's your attorney, Mr. Tarvin? Larry Longer. Oh, okay. And then for some crazy reason, as we stepped outside in the hallway, Russell Rudy decided he wanted to give me a horizontal gaze nystagmus test, which I refused again. He said, calm down, Mr. Tarvin. And then tried to shine the light in my eyes again. It's like, man, stop. I told you I'm not taking any tests. Just calm down, sir. Calm down. I don't want any problems. I'm not trying to give you a problem. I'm not taking any tests. I was just on video. And then the fool tried it a third time. And that's when I told Russell Rudy, if you shine that light in my face again, we're going to have some problems. Take me to my cell. I'm ready to go to sleep. I'm saying everything under oath. Prove me wrong. And then the fucking Marquez Stroud got up there and vouched for him, violated her duty as a prosecutor. Yeah. So I've had bad experiences with some corrupt, fraudulent officials who should be behind bars, but they're not. And I know you're not going to go arrest them and put them behind bars. You're not going to hold them accountable. And that's the problem. Just like HPD swept 265,000 cases under the rug, didn't investigate them. What the fuck? That's a failure of your police department. You should pay everybody a rebate. Everybody. We paid you to do your job and you didn't do it. Doesn't that make sense? Because if you hired me to deliver your groceries and I delivered them to your neighbor and expected you to pay me, would you pay me? I didn't do my job. But yet you want us to trust you. You want us to put our ultimate faith that you're going to do the right thing every time. Do you see the distrust we have? Do you see why we need to sit down at the table and have a polite, casual, reasonable, logical, mature conversation about what's really going on in the world and try to find solutions? Because again, you're in law enforcement. You're in a cult, just like all these other groups, okay? You don't realize it, you're in a cult. Try talking outside the cult. See what happens to you. Talk against your union. Talk against your department, agency, or bureau and see what happens. Right? You can't be the whistleblower. You know you got some dirty cops. You ain't turning them in. You got a new partner for just a shift or something, and man, they did something real dirty, but you just overlooked it. Instead of cleaning up your own police force, you've allowed these bad apples to sit there and rot the force. That's why a lot of people have issues with law enforcement. You know, it's not that we're trying to argue with you or anything. You got your training. Your training is for policy. Okay. You don't know the laws. Because if you did, you could tell me every new law that was passed September 1st, 2024 here in Texas. Can you? I want you to do that right now. If you're in law enforcement in Texas, go get a pen and paper, sit down, write down, and tell me every law that was passed September 1st. Send it to me in an email. I bet you can. Bet you didn't even look. I bet your supervisor or your department, agency, or bureau has not provided any type of continued learning education to teach you what the new laws are. Did they? This is what we're talking about. You know, we're not trying to argue with you. We're not trying to debate you. We're not trying to educate you. But trust me, when the right ones get in court and put you on the stand, they're going to clown you. They're going to make you look like an imbecile, like you shouldn't even be wearing a badge and a gun. Somebody like myself that get wired up, know the law, know what to say, know how to handle you, know what you're going to say before you even say it. That's why I know to ask the right questions, put you in a box where you can't answer. Because if you do, you're going to perjure yourself. Just like I did with the IRS agent, pinned him in a corner, couldn't answer the question. Just like I did with the Department of Homeland Security attorney in Planet Fitness in San Juan, Puerto Rico. Pinned him in a corner and he couldn't answer, couldn't say a word. So all I'm asking is you just have a little reason and a little acceptance and be able to come to the table and sit down and have a conversation with people like myself who are a 3-time loser, who have been in the system on the other side of the system, but understand that the system is needed, but it's corrupt and it needs to be fixed. And it's never going to be fixed as long as the people who keep it broken are fixing it. That's the problem. Who do you get your paychecks from? You get them from a corporation. You don't get them from a government. You don't get them from a republic. You get them from a corporation. Go do your own research. Go start looking in Dun & Bradstreet. Go start looking at some of these credit agencies and search for your governmental entities, your municipalities, towns, cities, counties, parishes, states, courtrooms. And you're going to discover, just like I did, that your courtroom's a for-profit corporation and they're listed in Dun & Bradstreet, that they have a credit report. They're not filing their taxes. They're tax evaders. I've proven that. This is what I'm talking about. Nobody wants to hold anybody accountable. Nobody wants to put anybody in jail. It's up to us. Doesn't matter if you have a badge or a gun or a pen and paper. It takes both of us to move mountains. And like George W. Bush said, you're either with us or against us. And I use that in the context of we are Americans. We were born in the USA. We deserve better. We must have better. And unless we work together, we're going to lose it all. Thank you for watching. I'll see you when I see you. Y'all have a great weekend. Be careful.